Reporting bots as an alternate to selling SOJs to spawn Uber Diablo. Every time 100 bots get reported and banned, another Diablo spawns. I love it so much. Brilliant. All right, let's look through this. Diablo 2 Resurrected console lobbies, TCPIP, and UW updates. This was 2 days ago. Like I said, some of you guys have seen this. I'm sure many have not, though, still. How, when making games, there are certain realities development teams need to face when confronted with dilemmas that impose on the gameplay experience. For this remaster, two of our core principles are protecting the authenticity of the original D2 experience and making it more accessible in this modern age. Our goal is to honor this timeless classic while also opening it to a new generation of players. So, keeping that in mind, as we approach the launch of D2 Resurrected, we want to take this opportunity to share some insight on a handful of in-game features we revisited following the technical alpha and beta events. Console lobbies and chat update. During the early access beta, we identified and fixed a bug preventing console players from grouping up in multiplayer. As we progressed, the system was working as intended for the open beta during our testing, and when we modernized the D2 experience for the console, we designed the game so players didn't have to rely on lobbies to play with others. Instead, players can invite their friends into their game directly or utilize the party finder to join up alongside other players with similar objectives. With that said, over the past couple of weeks, we've seen many discussions and expressed concern over the difficulty of joining the appropriate game based on a player's current activities. Yeah. In beta, finding other parties on console was confined to a few conditions. For example, if the player is on an identical quest as you with a similar character level and the same difficulty, you could join into that other player's multiplayer session. For modes such as PvP or the cow level, console lobbies don't propagate until you hit a few minimum requirements. For PvP, players need to reach level 99. For the cow level, players need to complete that challenge on their own front first. Right? You have to kill Hellbale first, or just Bale first. For these two modes, once those conditions have been met, console lobbies of those activities will become visible for those players. There's also a free roam option that players can opt into if no quest is selected. There's no quest restriction, but players that share similar levels and identical difficulty will be able to share a multiplayer session. A lobby is automatically converted to free roam once a player's character completes the initial quest that a lobby has started as in that multiplayer session. Following our beta, we've seen many console players requesting more options to better navigate activities in multiplayer. We've added bosses and zones tabs to the party finder so players can better coordinate on that front alongside the Pandemonium event, Uber Diablo event. You can create an Uber Diablo game. I guess it's just if it spawns, then it puts it in that category. And PvP dueling. Some console players have also requested the option to create custom lobbies. That is not a feature we're supporting at launch, but as we progress, we'll continue to monitor their feedback on this topic after the launch of D2 Resurrected. Shown below is a breakdown of the additional parameters that they'll be able to search for. Boss kills and Dario, right, and just all of those. Zones, free roam, Tristram, Canyon of the Magi, Chaos Sanctuary, Pindle Skin. Why is Pindle a zone? That's so weird. Pindle is literally 10 seconds to kill. And Maggot Lair. What? What are these two zones? Nobody creates these Maggot Lair runs or Pindleskin runs that they're... Do they mean Nilithak? Even then. Huh. That's the weirdest. Other, Pandemonium, Uber, and PvP/dueling, which once again, the Uber Diablo is interesting because you can't really create an Uber Diablo lobby. You just have to luck into it. So I don't understand this exactly. Lastly, we've seen a lot of discussion surrounding the chat functionality on console. We designed the game to be the best experience on each platform you play. For console, the primary way for player to communicate is through native voice chat on their platform. So we're not making any changes on that front, but we'll continue to monitor that feedback to see if it remains a prevalent area of concern for our players. If so, we'll explore making changes or adding more functionality to the in-game chat system post-launch. Okay, let's talk the first thing. To me, this still kind of sucks. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, the most use is definitely here, right? Like, I want to do chaos runs. I want to do... Wait, why are bail runs not a thing? I guess bail...
Sounds like people who don't play are making
but that'd
the rules.
be Diablo, wouldn't it? I don't know why... Also, this should... Chaos Sanctuary should have Act 3 completion, not Act 2 completion. But, that's probably just a typo. But, like... Okay, so I guess I'm doing bail runs, but if this quest is done, then it's going to put it into free roam, right? So how do I make sure that it's not based on that quest, but I just want to do World's Stone Keep or Throne of Destruction runs, I guess is what it would be called in the zones. Remove these two, because that literally makes 0 sense. And then... I don't know. It still just kind of sucks because there's so many things. Also, where's trade? I don't see a trade. Is that? I don't see that. It's missing stuff and being put into lobbies with other people that are close to your level. Like, I feel like a lot of it is where's like getting rushed. Isn't being rushed supposed to be a thing? But I guess if you rush somebody and then somehow you get in a game with someone who's a lower level and you rush them through normal and you leave that game, how do you get back into... You have to add them as your friend and invite them back in, I guess. So they have to be your friend then. You can't just like join a rush game or anything. Man, I mean, it just feels like there's so many complications that have been added here.
Let's be real. You should have been involved with this remaster.
This just feels like a nightmare for a console. Like, it's technically playable on console. But good lord, just having a lobby and just letting the people up and down arrow and then click on the game they want to join.
MRL Llama SC has joined channel. Trade. MRL Llama SC has left channel. Trade. MRL Llama SC has...
It feels like they've done a lot of complication when they could have just... Sorry, I need to pause this. Thank you, DXB, for the Timmy Tooth Fairy money. It feels like they've done a lot of complication here when it just building a lobby. I mean, honestly, like, I feel like Blizzard just needs to, like, this will be launch, and then after launch, just build a lobby for console players. Honestly, I mean, I see it, but there's just so many things in D2 that it just doesn't work well with, you know. Okay, anyways, and then the chat stuff, I'm sure people are going to still complain and want chat because voice chat is, I don't know. Are you voice chatting with people throughout the entire game? Just when they're nearby you? Do I have to hear the dude talking in Act 3 to the couple of people next to him? I don't know. I mean, I imagine you can just talk to everybody, but a lot of times I don't want to hear people's voices. I just hope there's an easy way to squelch people. Sometimes I just want to not hear voices. Anyways, okay. That's a whole whatever separate thing. Yeah, the amount of people that are going to curse me out for picking up the item they wanted. Give it back. That was my charm. Come on, I killed the mob, man. That was my charm. Give it back. Whew. We initially announced the removal of TCPIP support in our beta blog, knowing that this functionality would not be present in the beta or the final game. We want to take this time to share our insight on why we removed this feature. Following the technical alpha, we learned this functionality was enabling significant security-related issues to our game. We're aware that removing this feature adds a large hurdle for talented multiplayer modders in our community. Still, our priority is to keep this game's ecosystem as secure as possible for all of our players. Despite this change, a form of modding will still be possible. Players will have the ability to modify specific files, which include adjusting values of skills, items, and more. However, keep in mind the classic client of Diablo 2 will still exist, and that is not going away. Multiplayer mods will still be able to exist and thrive on that platform by our community there. Yeah, I mean, I can understand a company putting the security first because, yeah, people were like hacking the alpha and cracking it and playing the game offline on their own, and they literally had to go and send cease and desist orders, I'm pretty sure, to all these people and stuff, and whatever. You know, that was a whole mess. That, yeah, I mean, it's preventing piracy of their game for sure. Like, there's no way that they're gonna convince Blizzard. Like, the D2 team is going to convince Blizzard and the security team and everything, hey, let's just, have it, like, yeah, I know people are pirating the game through this, but let's just leave it. Especially with the way that it works now and everything. It still really sucks. Honestly, it makes me miss the days of when video gaming was more old school, where, Diablo 1 was hacked out the wazoo and all sorts of crap and whatever, but like, that was just how it was. Right? Like, yeah, you're going to have people who hack it, and it's just, but like, video games weren't as big business back then as they are now. And that kind of loosened up the reins more. That's kind of the thing. Like, there was a lot of stuff with games in the old days that they've removed. And, now it's another industry. And that's a whole separate talk, I feel like, is how video games have become an industry. And that's, maybe pushed out some of the fun of games, pushed out some of the good design of games, all sorts of stuff, right? A lot of things are much more streamlined and much more, the devs don't get as much freedom with all of the things that they're doing and stuff because of large corporate, conglomerates that have overtaken the area. Okay, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. All in all, I still think this is very sad because, yeah, there's a lot of, PD2, Media and Excel, all these mods that people love and people wanted to play, right, with Diablo 2, and now it's like, we're not going to get that. And that sucks. It's a very sad thing. I understand they're not going to do anything, especially right now. They just kind of came to this realization during the alpha. They're not going to have like the security ramped up and everything proofed out before there, and they're just going to make the decision. Are people still going to hack this game anyways? Yeah. But they're not going to make it easier for them, is what's going to happen. Now, once people eventually hack this game and find a way in, kind of opens it up for the modders maybe again. So, that's a little bit of my thought, is like, hey, maybe there's something there. I'd still love for Blizzard to have some of their own, like, way that they work with modders better to create some sort of realm. But we're on new BattleNet now, and it's changed. Yeah, someone will hack it and release a mod that'll enable TCPIP that then they can go in and 2 stuff. I'm sure people will eventually crack it, but they're not going to make it easy. So let's just keep our fingers crossed that, that happens. In the meantime, we still have the old stuff, so that's good at least. And then, I'm still curious what the modding that they are going to have. Because even like the Pluggy creator was saying that he won't be creating Pluggy for Diablo 2 Resurrected. And so I'm wondering what changes he was looking to make that won't allow that. Like maybe they don't allow, it's just the text files. Okay, so like you aren't going to be able to do changes to all of the like stash sizes and stuff like that, I guess. So that'd be my assumption. Which, once again, that kind of sucks. I mean, modding is a huge thing that has kept Diablo 2 alive for a long time, and I think that's gonna hurt a lot. So we'll just have to play both. This will be the Diablo 2 Resurrected will be for BattleNet play and new single player play and all that stuff, and then old D2 will be for Pluggy play and for all the mods, and until people hack the game and figure out a way to get it in, unless they shut that down. But who knows? Ultra-wide monitor support changes. So ultra-wide monitor support being modified was a subject we saw heavily discussed across other channels following the beta. In the alpha, they saw their full 21:9 screens utilized during the test. However, during the test, we identified limitations affecting those players and others. For example, the AI failed to sense the player and trigger attacks. Furthermore, players with 21:9 monitors were able to pull many more monsters into a battle at a range limit beyond the original game's intention. In a scenario where players were attacking monsters, players with 21:9 monsters could hit enemies with that extra screen space, but the monsters would not pull or react, but could still be defeated. Ultimately, the AI doesn't register getting hit from the additional distance that 21:9 monitor provides. That's not intended, especially if you're sharing a game with a 16:9 user. To protect the integrity of everyone's experience and promote an equal playing field for all, those with ultra-wide monitors will have the game screen preview extended to 19:9, the maximum length of an in-game limitation zone, with a how do you say that? Vignette on the sides of the game screen. We recognize that the players have spent a lot of money to assemble their 21:9 hardware setups, and seeing black bars may be frustrating for their experience. Vignette? Okay. That's what I thought. So we'll continue to watch these discussions and explore possible solutions that don't change how the game is played. For those who participate in the beta, we appreciate your time and feedback and make D2 Resurrected a better experience for those at launch. Please stay tuned, as we'll be standing up new dedicated forums for the D2 Resurrected community to continue discussing the game and sharing their experiences. You can also share your experiences in the YouTube comments below or anywhere on Mr. Llama SC's Discord, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, any of those channels. We are diligently working on getting everything ready for September 23 release. We can't wait for everyone to get back to the Rogue encampment to begin their quest east, always to the east. Thanks, Diablo community team. Yeah, I mean, hey, 19:9 still getting more field of vision than all of us are getting, so enjoy your advantage, you big pay-to-win screeners. Enjoy your advantage. Second link for SOJ news. Yes. And then the second link in a reply, how will we spawn Diablo clone? In single player, you will sell one SOJ to spawn D-clone. BattleNet is the same range as prior, which was 75 to 125 is actually what the range was. I should note these values are not approximate and can change in the future. So D-clone will be functioning the same, but I do like the single player change. I think that's fair. You find an SOJ in single player, you can get an Annie out of it. I think that's a perfectly good trade. You always thought it was 80 to 120. I think it's 75 to 125. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah. If there's no dupes, because this was implemented in old BattleNet because of duped SOJs. If there's no dupes, SOJs are going to be Expensive, man. Also, I imagine, like, how's it going to work with games specifically? I don't know. It's not going to be a global spawn for sure. It'll still have to be like individual server IP spawns, I would imagine. We'll see what happens there. Thanks, Tai Tai. Yeah. Okay. Overall, I mean, it's pretty, you know, this is the disappointing news that they had to give us, right? Like I say, they really should work on a lobby for console. I understand this. They can't do anything further here. They can try to spend time increasing security of, you know, this, but I can say this is on us to just find a way to hack the game to get mod support added. And this seems fair to me. This seems fine. I mean, 9x9 is still more than the 16x9, so like I say, it's nice. Do any console games have lobbies? I don't know, but this just feels really weird for Diablo 2. You know? Really weird. Anyways, we'll see how it goes. I'm still pumped for D2R. I'm mostly pumped because I'm playing on PC. If I was playing on console, I would be less excited. I would still be excited, but less so. How are you going to trade on console? I think they need to add a trade zone. Yeah. Cool. That is that.